want to start with a meaningful and very powerful affirmation. Only love can enter this right. Through the embodied ultraviolet flame from the eternal guardians of the higher realms, I call forth a full circle, divinity, truth, the purest quantum energy in the ether. Let no distortion live, as you will only be met with the eternal flame of the Divine Mother. I hope so it is. In today's video, hi everyone, my name is Kenraelbey, and I wanted to share something what has actually helped me stop second guessing myself every second and finally begin to hear that the real voice that lives within. Now, it was a lot of things that I really had to sit with myself on, but here are some that I plan to share, with some affirmations that will keep you in alignment. And of course, on your own journey, you can always add your own, detail it, or make it work for you, for your given situation. All right. So today I'm speaking truth, not the kind that needs defending, but the kind that moves through you like light through glass. I'm not here to prove my worth. I'm here to embody it, because I've learned you can plan forever and still stay stuck. But when you move as your higher self, the path creates itself under your feet. All right? So here's my reminder for you. You don't need all the steps. You just need alignment. Okay? Let me see something. Okay. Here is the day. Cheers to the day. You ready to get off your tail and move your feet? Then cheers to the day, right? So the day I began moving as my higher self, I done went through many different initiations, from the questioner to the I wasn't the embodier yet. I was still in a state of just questioning, running in circles and seeking. So the seeker, then the initiator, and then you will become the embodier, right? So there came a moment when I stopped waiting for a plan. Let me continue. So there came a moment when I stopped waiting for a plan and started moving like I already knew. I stood before my reflection, and realized the mirror had been waiting for me to finally speak truth to it. I said, "You are not behind. You are only walking backwards through time to gather your missing pieces." That's when it clicked. I had been journaling backwards. Okay. Every pain I ever wrote down wasn't to remind me of where I was, but to show me what I had already outgrown. The entries were echoes, not destinations. Now I write to remember. I write as my future self, sending messages to my present one, right? To keep moving, to keep shining, to keep trusting the invisible. So here's 2 key things that I begin to do. Now, I'm gonna drop some gems for y'all. And this works no matter where you are. Like for myself, I was in such a state, another state where I felt like I have lost completely everything, starting over all over again. Being super close, with others or those that deem to be your helpers, your guides, your family, your parents, whomever. And the only talk around that my subconscious ever heard was nonsense, negativity, things that will keep you going in circles, looking outside of yourself. Now you're outsourcing everything that you know in hopes that someone else will pick up on it and tell you what it is that you need. I had nothing, right? I was living with my mom at the time, and in this place, just with observing, like, okay, there's a lot of chatter, there's a lot of things that do not matter that is being brought to one's attention to be the main focus, right? They want to pull you in so many directions. So first, what I did was I had to realize what was no longer working for me. And it was the way I was writing in my journal. So we tend to think, okay, there's going to be a point. You need to scribble it out. Scribble the blocking pieces, what could possibly be your thought process onto paper, so that way you can finally look at the words to even determine where you are, what's your starting point. And I realized, okay, if this is shadow work, why is it not working? Why does it seem like I'm staying only right here? And it's because of the due fact of how I was writing. How did I transform my writings into something that actually helped me begin to move again? Because depending on how you write to yourself, it can make you only dwell on the past, which in turn will have you only focusing on either blaming others or staying in a victim consciousness, or your mind is just bent out of shape. You're not thinking properly. Okay? Don't get me wrong. I've learned a lot about myself in that segment. And what helped me finally realize what I was doing was not compatible with where I wanted to go, was the due fact that I have been taught wrong. And that truth had finally got me to stop being so stubborn. I too have been misguided, which has sent me on a whole road of being around people that only reflected that same misguided consciousness that I grew up with. Okay? On that timeline, everything was only in reflection of my parents. Whether avoidance or abandonment issues. Not necessarily issues, because there are no problems unless you only suggest to your mind that there are so many problems. So I became the solution maker instead. So I had to have these talks with my soul in the mirror. When you begin talking to yourself in the mirror, you weren't just giving affirmations. I was summoning remembrance. You may recall moments when your reflection felt alive, when your eyes softened and you saw yourself seeing. That's the higher self witnessing the human self with compassion. Right? It is so important that the vessel knows that it is safe. The individual must recognize you do not need to prove your light. Just embody it. Let's walk as if it's already done. But my mind was so like this, y'all. I first had to transition to what would be that thing that I had endless and abundance of access to, and that I can actually use to get this thing started on my own, of my own free will. Pen and paper and a whole lot of meditation. Some other things, but I want to focus on these key points here. Okay. So these mirror talks open a quantum bridge. Each word a command to the subconscious. Each gaze a seal of truth. I am so grateful. I want to take this time to just say I am so proud of myself. Because I'm telling you, when there's when you are in such a place to where you feel like even the walls are caving in, but for some reason the only thing that you're doing is still entrapping yourself, I had to get real. And that's where those talks in the mirror had truly helped me even see that there was a breakthrough coming through. I became my own drill sergeant, which is so funny. When I was connecting with my higher selves to just help me stay so present and always telling myself there is a way out. And my affirmations helped ensure that I remained in that energy to then properly. Okay, 2. The movement. Acting without a plan. That moment You started taking steps without needing a full plan. That's how embodiment first breathes. So when I realized I needed more solutions, I simply began to write, using my will, chi. I had to build it up, and I simply got out my notebook, pencil, pen, and I had to sit down everything that I thought I should be looking at, like whether false projects, been over there, talking to certain people, all of these things. But I also had the awareness that, okay, there's a sense of survival happening here. How can I slow down the pace? So now the affirmations. I began writing. What could I use, for example? Because yes, even my affirmations now has certainly upgraded. So what at that starting point, this is beginner friendly, just to get you to focus. Like, I am a master. I am a self-master of my own mind. The development within my brain expands phenomenally at the fastest rate. To even simplify it even more than that, I will create more solutions in my daily life. And while I'm mentioning from the writing of the affirmations to talking in the mirror, because now facing my own reflection in that mirror, that's when I begin to see the magic take place. Alongside me, of course, not skipping any steps. I still did my shadow work. I still had to ask myself the hard questions. But it's something remarkable. It's something very transformational. And you're using a whole lot of alchemy as well when you're staring in your own eyes. Right? It's an entryway when done correctly. But when you are idolizing or bashing yourself, or someone who is in a state of only what is that, surface, just too surfacey with it, without any clear intentions, then those things may as well hold you back, right? I'm so grateful. I am so grateful. All right. It's when faith overrides perfectionism. You don't need to be perfect to do this, or even start. You start saying yes to what feels aligned, even if you don't yet know the how. And you'll know it's working because your own will from your soul will bring you certain events that can possibly give you exactly what you need in that moment, without forcing yourself onto someone or being gaslit in a situation, or even having to really manipulate a thing. But it will come. One must stay aware not to even get be pulled on by the certain energy that do arrive, because you have to think about it. When you are coming from a survival state, your heart has not been officially cleared from all of the weights and debris and everything else that has been impacting your sense of thoughts, because your heart is magnetizing what your body feels. So it is a process. So in the midst of these affirmations, here are the things that I began to take witness to. I started to become more organized, just rearranging things. I no longer slept with my clothes on the bed beside me. I finally put each piece up in a little mini closet I had at the time. That's what I'm saying. Remarkable things, okay? But it's very important, because there is no thing that's too little to begin with. It all is for a given purpose, for what it is that you need in that moment to help you later on. It's just important to realize it. Then I started actually hearing my higher self, because I had a moment to where if something else happened while in the midst of me really working on myself, if something else happened, I kind of got into a cradle position a lot, like, why, right? But we want to change that mentality into, what is this teaching me, and what now can I do to best help myself? During that time, I did not know what I needed. I did not know nothing. So next, dressing in a way that mirrors my energy, or the energy you want to portray, not just your mood. So for example, if I'm someone who only stay in sweats or things that feel dull, right? It can affect your energetic state. So yes, even with no actual plan for anywhere to go necessarily, my higher self now begin having me just dress up, right? Get up. Get up. Right? And it made a difference. I feel like too, by doing these things, you can begin to assess your own mental state moving forward, because there's always going to be a teaching moment either way, whether high or low. It's there to teach you something. It's here to teach us all something. Why? Because our soul is on that path to expansion. It thrives on growth. Okay. So then, another thing that I've grown witness to, where I knew I was changing, and I still am, all the time. was sitting still, and I was so silent. And I heard a voice come through, pay your phone bill. So I had I had the tendency to just hold on to whatever little scraps I had without making any movements, right? It's an energy. So it was still in a space or coming from a place of not only stagnation, but fear and scarcity. Because at the time, I'm like, well, I'm here, and that's all I had to go on. But my soul would rage. And then I saw the truth. I had a vision, and it showed me the 4 walls I was entrapped in, and I literally could see myself going around in a circle. And then above it was another layer and some other metrics kind of layers that was surrounding it. So I had to continuously train my conscious to expand itself outside of the limitations that was placed around it, on it, and just by what it was consistently viewing. So me dressing up, that led to, if I sit still here, I had to be real. I ain't gonna make it. I had to be honest. So that led me to going for walks. So everything was a beginning quantum initiation for me to now not only listen and talk about it, whichever way, whether I focused it on a future point. If I get dressed and go out there, nothing's gonna happen. I didn't talk like that. Or I only focused on the past. If I get dressed, then somebody gonna ask me why I'm getting dressed and ask me all these questions to where now I don't want to do it anymore, right? So I only focused on my present movement. So things that I would have hesitated on, my higher self was getting me to be in full participation of. Okay? So as you begin to move like this, without the old need for external permission, the universe begins to mirror you back. So this was teaching me the mystery of integration through daily presence. As you move like this, without the need for external permission, the universe begins to mirror you back. Synchronicities multiply, people respond differently, and even your body language changes. The way you breathe, pause, or look at the sky shifts subtly. The unplanned steps become the plan because you're walking as divine intelligence embodied. And in each moment, I gave thanks because it was clicking. You gotta have that, aha, I see, aha, moments to come through. You have to allow it to. And the biggest takeaway of all is give your own self permission. A lot of us may not think about it on a conscious, but subconsciously it is a matrix program that has already been there before you got here, right? And that program is to subconsciously hold yourself back for the sake of another. Okay. So, give yourself permission to grow. This is fun returning. There will always be a lot more to say from my end for this beautiful new start and very beautiful new beginning, right? Ignore those distractions. And this is for me too. You only have everything to gloat and be proud of yourself for. Why? I will always foresee myself through this, whatever this may look like, and through whatever may change that comes and follows. Life is so good when you decide to no longer abandon yourself. I am grateful. And then, of course, I'm the apprentice, the steward of life. And I am greatly appreciative to share with you all here today and be able to share more of the beautiful moments and experiences not only my soul, body, higher self has been teaching me, but just to spread more joy. Through confusion will come revelation. So let this reveal something to all of us today. That change is here. Stay patient. Because your time is now. It is now. Like literally right now. Peace.